Hello, and welcome to Buddha Zen Wisdom, where we are here to accompany you every day with insights and teachings that help nurture your soul. In a world that is constantly shifting and changing, we believe that wisdom and peace of mind are the true treasures that carry us through all stages of life. 1. The topic of money. When interacting with others, no matter how close you are, it's best to avoid discussing money, as it can lead to unwanted trouble. It may seem like a trivial point at first, but this advice holds deep wisdom that has been passed down through generations. Why is money such a sensitive subject? The answer lies in its very nature. Money is not just a tool for survival or comfort, it is also a symbol of status, security, and success. Because of these associations, it's no surprise that discussions about money often bring up feelings of jealousy, insecurity, or even resentment. In our social interactions, no matter how close we are with others, a wrong topic can lead to unexpected problems. Many conflicts arise from missteps in conversation, especially when sensitive issues are touched upon. It's common to hear of people getting into heated arguments or even breaking relationships because of the way financial matters were handled in a conversation. Many times, something that started out as an innocent remark can quickly escalate into a misunderstanding, ruining years of friendship or family ties. As we age, we gain more experience and wisdom, which makes it easier for us to recognize the importance of avoiding topics that might bring unnecessary tension. Life becomes harder with age in many ways, from physical limitations to the added complexity of managing different relationships, and dealing with these sensitive matters becomes even more crucial. What might seem like a small problem today can snowball into something much larger down the line, causing pain and regret. It's far better to stay cautious and avoid these tricky areas in order to maintain peaceful and lasting relationships. One of the first topics to avoid is money. We've all heard the saying, money doesn't grow on trees. It's a saying that speaks to the preciousness of money and how it should be treated with respect and discretion. Discussing financial matters openly, especially in social settings, can lead to jealousy, misunderstandings, and even trouble down the line. This is not just ancient wisdom, but it is a critical life lesson. Money, after all, can be a source of tension, and when it's openly discussed, it opens the door to negative emotions like envy and greed. A story comes to mind. A young man was traveling to the city for an important exam, and he had some money tied to his belt. Being young and naive, he was confident about the goodness of people. He thought that no one would want to harm him, and he felt no need to guard his wealth carefully. Along his journey, he encountered a group of thieves who not only took his money but also burned his important study books. All of the young man's hopes and plans went up in flames. The moral here is simple: it's safer to keep financial matters private. Once others see your wealth, it may spark negative attention and sometimes even unwanted demands. In this case, the young man's openness led him into danger, and his carelessness was his undoing. This idea is not new, it's embedded in our history and in stories from different cultures. A person on social media shared their experience of winning a lottery worth $200,000. At first, they were excited and began showing off, buying a car, throwing money around, and celebrating their newfound wealth. But this excitement quickly turned sour when relatives began asking to borrow money. It started with a few $1,000s, but soon they were asking for tens of thousands. Before long, they had lent out $50,000 to various family members. The generosity was not met with gratitude, however. Eventually, when the money ran out, those same relatives denied ever borrowing the money, even when there was no signed agreement. The lesson? If your wealth is exposed, it often attracts vultures, not just opportunistic loan requests, but even jealousy and dishonesty. In the workplace or amongst friends, it's best to keep conversations about income, savings, or material possessions private. This helps avoid the negative impact of jealousy or people trying to manipulate you into lending them money. These external issues can lead to awkwardness, disappointment, or even worse, long-lasting damage to your relationships. So, when engaging in social settings, steer clear of revealing your financial situation. It may be tempting to talk about your successes or wealth, but doing so could open the door to tension and regret. By keeping these details private, you maintain the harmony of your relationships and preserve your peace of mind. 2. Talking about others behind their back. Another topic that can easily create problems is discussing other people behind their backs. Silence can be your strongest weapon when it comes to discussing other people. We all know someone who enjoys gossiping, whether about a coworker, a friend, or even a family member. Gossiping may seem harmless at first, but it can quickly escalate into something far more serious. It's essential to recognize the potential harm that can come from talking ill of others, especially when they are not present to defend themselves. There's a rule to follow. If someone tells you a secret, that secret is no longer a secret once it leaves their lips. The real secret is the one that remains hidden deep inside. It may feel tempting to share something that was entrusted to you, especially when the information is juicy or scandalous. But remember, by speaking ill of others, you not only harm the person being discussed, but you also damage your own reputation. Gossiping or betraying someone's trust can break relationships, leading to mistrust and betrayal. When someone begins with, "Let me tell you a secret," and starts speaking ill of a mutual friend or colleague, it's a red flag. They may want you to join in their complaints and seek your approval. But by telling you these secrets, they've already made you the messenger. The moment they speak, the so-called secret is no longer private. Remember, a secret shared is no longer a secret. This principle holds especially true in professional settings. Complaining about others in the office or with friends might seem harmless, but it can easily backfire. What you say in confidence could be shared with others and potentially get back to the person you were talking about. Imagine a situation in which you've told a colleague something negative about another coworker, only for the information to make its way back to that person. Not only do you risk damaging your professional relationships, but you also risk losing the respect and trust of those around you. In the workplace, it's essential to maintain a neutral stance, avoid gossiping, and always focus on diplomacy. The best communicators are the ones who know when to remain silent and keep things neutral, thus earning respect and trust. They understand the importance of maintaining a professional demeanor, even in difficult situations. It takes a great deal of emotional intelligence to avoid participating in gossip and to protect both your reputation and your relationships. 3. The topic of human relations and favoritism. Another sensitive topic is human relationships, particularly when it comes to favoritism. Know where to draw the line when discussing personal relationships and favors. In many cultures, there is a saying that when it comes to personal relations, one must know where the line is drawn. This is a critical lesson, especially in business and professional environments. When personal emotions come into play, it's easy to lose sight of the objective reality and make decisions based on personal preferences or biases. In any relationship, whether business or personal, it's important to recognize where fairness and objectivity must be prioritized. Years ago, two cousins decided to start a business together. One cousin offered the land for the store, while the other contributed a large sum of money for renovations and equipment. At first, everything seemed perfect. One cousin contributed resources, the other contributed money. The partnership seemed well balanced. But when it came time to divide the profits, problems arose. One cousin believed that the land he provided was more valuable than the money invested in equipment, and therefore, he felt entitled to a larger share. The other cousin, on the other hand, believed the money they contributed to purchase equipment was the real key to the success of the business. The dispute escalated, and the business collapsed. They parted ways bitterly, no longer speaking. This story illustrates a crucial point: human relations and favoritism can cloud judgment and lead to failure. When personal emotions or favors influence business decisions, they often lead to dissatisfaction and resentment. In business, it's vital to separate emotions from profits. While relationships are important, decisions should be based on clear agreements, mutual respect, and the recognition of each person's contribution. This helps prevent misunderstandings and ensures that both parties feel fairly treated. It's not always easy, but fairness is the foundation for long-term success in both business and personal relationships. 4. Living the second half of life. Embrace deliberate forgetfulness and mildness. If you want to live your second life with ease and joy, practice being a little dull, forgetful, and a bit foolish. This doesn't mean being ignorant, but rather having the wisdom to not take everything too seriously. Life is already challenging enough, and holding on to every little grievance only weighs you down. There's a saying, still waters run deep, and it holds true in the way we deal with life's challenges. A rushed, impatient attitude only makes things worse, whether it's dealing with a difficult customer or facing a tricky situation at work. Take, for example, a writer named David Brown, who once had a particularly challenging client. No matter how much effort he put into making the client happy, nothing seemed to work. The client kept finding fault with his work, and eventually, David lost his temper. He yelled at the client, saying their demands were unreasonable. While it felt good in the moment, the aftermath was disastrous. Not only did he lose the deal, but he also ruined a long-term relationship with a major client. David's experience was a wake-up call. It made him realize that a quick temper can often lead to regret, especially when business relationships are at stake. When emotions flare, it's important to step back, think carefully, and respond with patience. If you're not sure how to handle a situation, it's often best to stay calm, walk away, and return when you can think more clearly. Likewise, embracing a bit of forgetfulness can lighten your load. The French writer Balzac once said, "If you don't forget, many aspects of life would become unbearable." We all have little frustrations and annoyances in our lives, but clinging to them only makes life harder. The young man in the story with the farm learned to let go of his frustrations by hanging them on a tree at the end of the day. This simple act of symbolic release helped him let go of the stress he carried and allowed him to be happy and present with his family. Sometimes, the key to happiness is letting go of the little things. Conclusion. As we navigate life, especially as we age, it's essential to learn to protect our peace by avoiding these sensitive topics. Keep your finances to yourself, avoid gossip, understand the balance of human relations, and embrace a slower, more mindful approach to life. By doing so, we create space for long-lasting relationships and a more peaceful, joyful existence. Life is already complicated enough, and by taking a step back from the pressures of social expectations, financial concerns, and emotional baggage, we create the opportunity to live with greater clarity, joy, and harmony. Remember, the journey towards wisdom and peace is a continual one, and it's one that requires ongoing mindfulness and effort.